There was a time in my life when I believed power belonged to the loud. The men who spoke the most, the men who demanded attention, the men who needed every room to feel their presence. And for a while, I admired them. Until life showed me something different. The strongest man I ever met rarely spoke at all. He was an old monk who lived high in the mountains beyond the city walls. No army guarded him, no crown rested upon his head. Yet whenever he entered a room, even the arrogant became quiet. Not because they feared his strength, but because they felt it. That was the first time I understood that true power does not announce itself. It radiates in silence. The monk once told me, a weak mind needs to be heard. A disciplined mind observes first. At the time, I thought silence was emptiness. I believed silence meant weakness. But as the years passed, I realized silence is often the language of control. Most people speak to escape themselves. They fill every moment with noise because they fear what they might discover in stillness. But when a man learns to sit alone with his thoughts, without distraction, without needing approval, something changes within him. He becomes harder to manipulate, harder to provoke, harder to break. I remember standing in a crowded arena surrounded by warriors boasting about victories they had not yet earned. Their voices were loud, desperate to convince others of their greatness. Meanwhile, one warrior stood quietly near the shadows, sharpening his blade. He said nothing, but his focus spoke louder than all of them combined. And when the battle came, he was the only one who remained calm. That is the psychology of silence. Silence preserves energy, while others waste themselves trying to impress the world. The silent mind studies the world instead. It notices what others miss. The insecure speak quickly because they fear being ignored. The wise speak carefully because they understand the weight of words. There is a reason deep rivers move silently while shallow waters make the most noise. And in life, the same truth applies to people. Some of the most dangerous individuals I have ever encountered were not emotional men screaming for attention. They were calm, controlled, patient, because silence gives you something emotion never will: clarity. When you stop reacting to everything, you begin seeing everything. You notice manipulation, you notice weakness, you notice your own flaws, and that awareness becomes power. The monk once asked me, "Why do you think kings sit high above crowds?" I answered, "So they may be seen." But he smiled and said, "No, so they may see." That lesson never left me. Power is not found in constantly proving yourself. True power is the ability to remain grounded when others lose control, to remain calm when others become emotional, to observe when others rush blindly, and perhaps most importantly, to become comfortable with silence. Because silence forces you to meet yourself. No distractions, no applause, no escape, only truth. So if your mind feels restless, if the world feels too loud, do not run from silence. Enter it, sit with it, learn from it. Because within silence, you may finally discover your power. Aurelius Noctis.